that which comes next in order, in the semblance of which of the living creatures did the constructor of the cosmos construct it.
Now, this is step one. Now he's going to go into step two, which is now finding a model for living creatures. This was for the total. And that's all we're doing. All right, now we can go further into this and take a look at the cosmology. We can see how the heavens are created, how the heavens are created and the planetary system relates to the Greek diatonic scale. We can see how the mean analogies function. But essentially, I'd like to stay here for a while. So that's where we're going to stop for a moment. All right, okay. Now, we have to make sure of something, and that is that we would like to see how we can express this creative process. Now, what we're now getting here are the processes that go on in the very fundamental basis of the cosmology. One, no hesitancy in creating. Now, once we have that, notice then, creation presupposes a desire. Therefore, in this divinity, the Creator, there must be a desire. It must be a desire that all should be like Himself. Therefore, likeness is going to be the principle, the supreme principle of creation. That in order for something to be created in the universe, the first creation, in order for creation to take place, therefore, the condition for creation must be there first, right? The condition must precede the effect, right? The condition, the necessary condition for creation, therefore, is that there must be the possibility for creating a likeness. That's the fundamental thing. That's the supreme principle of all creation. Likeness. Right? So therefore he desires that all should be like himself. What does that mean? That means that which has reason, body, and soul, to that degree, is like himself. Now, that's a very interesting thing, because in a few minutes we want to talk about how he makes soul. Reason, that's easy to see. And they'll be together in a minute. All right? So
those are all qualities he possesses? Reason, body, and soul?
Well, I'm not sure of that, but what would you say these qualities are in the creation? Come on.
In the creation?
Yeah, what's he doing?
Judging.
Judging things as necessarily being beautiful. He's reflecting, comparing. What would you call this?
Qualities of soul.
Of soul with or without reason?
With reason.
Ah. So therefore the fundamental principle behind all creation is that this likeness must exist, but that's only possible if therefore there is an intelligible principle in the nature of God. Right? And therefore God must be intelligible. Right? The very basis of intelligibility must reside in God. Ah, now look here. What kind of reasoning? See, he looks over all the disorder, and what's he going to do? He's going to bring it to order. He's not creating out of nothing. He's bringing it to order. By the way, those people involved in meditation, what's the first thing they encounter in their own meditation when they begin? It's all disordered. It is all disordered. And they're going to have to then bring in some order. The first step of meditation is right here, then, isn't it? Now, the only reason you want to do that, the only reason you want to do it, is that you really like to bring order so that it can be good. You want to be better. The only reason why you're going to go through such strange activity. So what do you have to do? You have to take over the disorder. You have to take it over. Well, if you don't have any idea of what you're doing, it's likely that you're not going to succeed. Therefore, if creation is a model for meditation, we can use this then and apply it to ourselves, can we not? And that will make us more intelligible and good, will it not?
Sure.
Yes, so look, see? Now, how did you bring order? How do you bring it order? In this case, you see, the whole process of meditation then is reflecting back upon oneself, this capacity to reflect back upon oneself and to find some supreme principle of creation within ourselves is the very goal of any kind of meditation. That is, any kind of meditation that has a rational principle behind it. Now this activity, the possibility of turning upon oneself and reflecting upon oneself, that's the great idea in Greek philosophy, which sometimes is translated as the word essence. That's what the word really means, essence. It should never be used in any other way. Right? That's what essence is. Now, since we have that capacity to turn upon ourselves, what we want to do when we turn upon ourselves is not just to reflect on a small part of ourselves, but to accept ourselves in a totality. Now, would you not agree there's no physical thing that can turn upon itself at all points? It might be a euboreous figure like that very interesting snake that is able to bite its own tail, right? But then that's not turning upon itself in its entirety, only grasping its tail. Therefore, this essence-like movement is only possible for something intelligible. If it is possible to grasp the nature of the self in its entirety, if it's possible to grasp the nature of the self in its entirety, then obviously then this possibility then is significant, because this possibility then of turning upon oneself and grasping the nature of oneself in its totality is the very thing that God's doing in his own creation. He's able to grasp himself in its totality, and grasping that in its totality, he's able to use that as a model in the creation. Here, wouldn't it be strange if he was only grasped part of it? Then creation would be only a part. This is what's called, of course, in Greek thought, as ousia, anglicizing it.
And that's
right?
equitable with meditation.
Pardon me?
That's equitable with meditation. It's the same thing.
Equitable in meditation. Equitable.
With.
Equitable
with meditation.
No, that's the process of meditation.
Ousia.
Ousia.
Yeah.
Ousia is that property in man and in creation and anything intelligible that can turn upon itself and grasp itself in its entirety as a whole, simultaneous whole. Must be simultaneous whole, not as parts, not collectively, not in sequence, but unitarily. Right? Seeing that in a moment, simultaneously, in the moment, is the whole process of grasping the essence of oneself. From the Greek, right? That's the basic idea. Now, sometimes they translate this word as being, but that shouldn't be, because being means something else. All right, now, look here now. What does it mean? You see, this is a constant activity. Right? It's a constant activity because the creative process is a constant activity. Therefore, in the creation of the universe, it's an ongoing process. Therefore, God is continuously absorbed in reflecting upon himself, and in the very act of absorption in himself is the creation. Now, wait, that's very interesting. How can that be said? Well, let's try it now. Maybe I can use this little piece here. In the Timaeus, there are two terms, same and other. When they use the word same, right, that which is eternally the same and has no variation and is a whole without parts, that is the same thing as he's calling the model. That's the idea in the mind of God. Right, that's the idea in the mind of God. That's that object God reflects upon in order to create the universe. That model, capital I, by the way, not, right?